Hey guys, Christopher Bob Roberts here from selfdefensestreetfighting.blogspot.com and ChristopherBobRoberts.com. I'm going to talk in this video blog about some of the questions I've been getting since I put out my last product, Street Fighting's Mental Edge. What it is it's 4 MP3s dealing with different aspects of the mental side of street fighting based self-defense. And the thing is, I would say that it's at least 80% mental, whether you survive a street fight or not. I mean, people talk about getting the best techniques out there for the best martial arts, but listen, if you're scared, okay, if you're not aggressive enough because I'm afraid to hurt the person, or I'm afraid to get in trouble, legal ramifications for hurting the person, if you get hurt and you're like, oh my God, my sensei never told me I was going to get hurt because the blocks were supposed to work, so you can't deal with the pain. Or situational awareness, one of my favorite subjects, which basically means being aware of what's going on. Not that you get like cold cocked or before you even know you're in a fight, you get taken out, you get quite an ambush, so to speak, because you're always aware of what's going on. And so I got a lot of questions. One of these guys named Dan, he sent me an email. I'm going to go ahead and discuss his questions because he asked a couple really good ones. First of all, if this mental training product would help him turn techniques into motor neural reflexes, both gross and fine. Okay, I'm not a really big fan of fine motor skills in a fight. I'm also not a big fan of really complex prearranged techniques in a fight. Gross motor skills, reflexes, okay, motor neural reflexes basically means it's just so hardwired into your brain, it's not a matter of thinking what to do, where it's just like situation, boof, react, okay? Definitely, that's one of the points of this product, okay? That's definitely one of the points of the mental training of physical techniques, MP3, that I have in this bundle. What it basically comes down to is, and a lot of the concepts that I have here for dealing with pain, turning fear into aggression, and for mentally training your physical techniques. Situational awareness goes in a completely different direction, but these three MP3s are based upon a couple concepts that came down in a book called Psycho-Cybernetics by a guy named Maxwell Maltz. And he came up with a couple of things that are important. The two that I find most important for us, self-defense instructors, is your mind cannot tell the difference between an imagined and a real memory. So that means if I go ahead and hit the punching bag today, okay, tomorrow I remember having hit it today. Memory. If I imagine myself today, the movement hitting the punching bag, tomorrow I remember imagining hitting the punching bag. There's no difference. Okay, in the moment I'm hitting physically, but a second after I'm done hitting, all I have is a memory, and there's no difference in your mind between a created and an actual memory. Okay? And another thing that he came up with is the concept of basically when you practice, you screw up more than you do anything else. I'm going to come up with an example here, because I like to play golf. So I'm hitting a golf ball 100 times, 95 times the ball doesn't go anywhere. 4 times the ball goes somewhere, but not where I was planning on it going or hoping it would go. And then one time I just hit just a straight ass 300-yard drive, beautiful, perfect, okay? Now I practiced 95 times not doing anything productive whatsoever. 4 times hitting a golf ball, slicing it, whatever, hooking it, and not what I wanted to do. And one time I had a really good, perfect drive. Now for me to get better, it has nothing to do with repetition, because I repeated screwing up. It has to do with me taking out this one memory of this perfect 300-yard drive and keeping this memory in, okay? And trying to do this memory again, trying to recreate the same situation I had in this one memory. So those are two of the concepts that I rely heavily upon when I created this product. Now, what it basically comes down to is a lot of people come ahead and everybody knows somebody who's gotten his ass kicked, even though he's a really good fighter or a really strong guy or whatever, a really good karate fighter, mixed martial artist, boxer, whatever. And how did this happen? Oh man, it was nothing like I imagined. It was nothing like I trained. Yeah, okay, that's the thing. If I put on gloves and go ahead and I train boxing, for instance, I got my mouthpiece, I got my gloves on, well lit, I know I've got so much time to fight. When I go ahead and I get attacked in a street situation, it's like there are no gloves. It's a completely different feel in my hands. I'm thinking to myself, I have no mouthpiece and I'm going to get knocked out easier, get a tooth knocked out easier. I'm not going to go for like a 2-minute round or a 3-minute round. I might just go ahead and just get my ass beaten up for the next 3 hours, so far as I know. So it's completely different. However, because you cannot tell the difference between an imagined and a real memory, you can imagine any situation you want to be in, which leads me up to the situation that he came up with now, the question of how do you desensitize yourself from the environmental factors of a violent situation. Example I gave up was verbal conflicts, physical size. Means the guy's yelling at you, how do you keep from getting shooken up by the guy yelling at you? Physical size, you see a guy that's a lot bigger than you, how do you get over just the concept of not being afraid? Desensitize yourself, that was his original question. Desensitize yourself, if you're desensitizing yourself because you're afraid of spiders, snakes, water, heights, whatever you're desensitizing yourself from, you have to get exposed to it. Now, I'm not going to tell you to go out and get a job as a bouncer or as a cop on the wrong side of town. I'm not going to tell you guys to go ahead and join the Foreign Legion or get yourself in bar fights. What I'm going to tell you guys to do is you need to expose yourself to this danger. Remember, if you do this properly, your mind cannot tell the difference between an imagined and a very real situation. So if I tell you, I've gotten probably more combat experience, quote unquote, by imagining it, by visualizations than I did on the door. How many fights you've been in? Let's say you've been in 1,000 street fights. Well, great. Maybe you've imagined being in 10,000 street fights. Okay, visualize being in 10,000 street fights. So whatever you want to call yourself as, I've been in more street fights than anyone else, you still rely more upon your visualizations if you do it properly. Okay. What I'm basically saying here is, if you can use your visualization properly to imagine, to really truly experience, to get a little bit scared actually when you're doing your visualizations, you can go ahead and build yourself up to the point where you actually have your greatest enemy in front of you. Every guy has like a chick that just makes him, just does it for him. Like, wow, this look is great. Every guy also has a guy that just scares the hell out of him. It's like, oh my God, this shaved head Nazi guy, or this motorcycle gang, leather jacket guy, whatever. For some reason, there's just something that just scares them about you. Now, if you expose yourself through these visualizations, this is what I do in my, one of the concepts that I have in my turning fear into aggression, MP3, is just to desensitize yourself by exposing yourself to this. The same thing with dealing with pain. There are a lot of other concepts, reframing, so looking at it from another point of view, so to speak. There are a lot of other concepts other than that, but the bottom line is, if you can experience something, real or imagined, if you could experience something, get some combat experience, real or imagined, before you're in this situation, it will be less foreign. You won't come back saying, it was nothing like I expected, because it was exactly like you expected. You've been hurt before, quote unquote, in your head, in your visualizations. It's not a big deal, you fought through it, okay? You've been attacked by this kind of a person before. You've been yelled at before, okay? You've seen a guy reach for something in his pocket, and it's probably a weapon. You've done all this before, so you know you should react instead of thinking to yourself, oh my God, what do I do? You know what to do because you've experienced it, okay? Mentally. That's the whole point of these three of the four MP3s. The fourth MP3, situational awareness, being aware of your surroundings, that's giving you the habit of being aware of your surroundings, giving you exercises to keep you aware of your surroundings. That's a completely different direction. But the three of dealing with pain, mental training and physical techniques, and turning fear into aggression, those three deal a whole lot with visualization, getting yourself this fighting experience, so when something does go wrong, you are used to it, okay? You have experience with it already. And like I said, there's something called reframing from neurolinguistic programming, looking at something from a different point of view, okay? One of the keystone concepts for turning fear into aggression, that all sort of thing. So yeah, definitely go ahead and take a look at this product. Dan, I hope I answered your question. If I didn't, send me another email. And if anybody else has any questions, send me another email. I'm trying to get into some of these concepts more in depth. If you guys keep asking these questions, I'll go ahead and keep answering as fast as I can. Until next time, train smart and watch your back.